Alright, this is a follow-up to the video I made the other day about the VST plugins I'm looking forward to most in Reason 9.5. And these are the other plugins that I've already bought. I've been using them, I've been liking them a lot. They add the other thing that I think was really missing for me as a producer in Reason, and that really was more from the perspective of analog warmth emulation. We can go down a rabbit hole of whether or not that's BS, and I'd love to do that in the comments, but I'm going to say that you can definitely get a little more warmth and a little more harmonic distortion in your mixes if you're trying to go for lo-fi sounds, or if you're more into like classic rock, just dirty sounding stuff. Um, Reason was pretty clean, and there was never really a great tape emulation in it, and there wasn't even great console emulation, although you could mix a few of the things together and get a decent sounding sound. So what really excites me and what I've been using and experimenting with in the beta is a few plugins from Waves, and these things are just like awesome. They're primo, and they just give that extra added little something that I didn't have before. There's going to be affiliate links down below to them, and if you click through them, you'll get 10% off. So there's no reason not to. Now, one caution I'll say is that Waves often has huge sales, so if what you want isn't on a huge sale, don't buy it. Just wait till the sale comes along. But these are the three that really, really, like, I've sort of putting them on songs, and they do something to them. So the first one is, and I'll do full reviews on these, but I just want to sort of quickly run through these things that I'm looking forward to and that I've enjoyed using so far. The first is the Kramer Master Tape, which is an insanely good tape emulation plugin. It just sounds like tape, and you can make it sound like really good and clean tape, or you can make it sound like really old, nasty, fluttery tape. And so on the really clean side, it's something that you might want to just put lightly on your master bus for like a rock song to give you just a little something. Not noticeable, but just a little something. And that's what all of these Waves plugins are. That's a big footnote. And this is actually the secret to good sounding productions overall. So after I tell it to you, you gotta like this video and subscribe, because I've just dropped some knowledge on you. And that is that there's no magic button plugin that you just slap a tape on and now it sounds like it's tape, or you slap a saturation and it now sounds perfect. No. What makes really good sounding productions and mixes is like 100 little things that aren't noticeable at all, but you put them along in each step of the chain everywhere, from the recording phase to the arrangement phase to the mixing phase to the mastering phase, and they all come together. And if anything is strong enough that it actually stands out on its own, you've ruined the mix. Like, if you've got a tape plug and you're like, oh yes, I've got it set so extremely that it sounds like tape, unless you're going for like a degraded tape effect, you've ruined your mix. It just adds a little bit of the here, a little bit there, a little bit there. Does that make sense? Is that worth a thumbs up? Subscribe? So anyway, that's my philosophy. And so the Kramer Master Tape is great on that. And I've got this theory that I want to try out in a series of videos that I'll walk through with you guys down the road sometime, where I try and like recreate a vintage recording session. And I just want to see what it sounds like. So, but that's later, and that'll take time, and we'll need Reason 9.5 to be out and stable first. So Kramer Master Tape also allows you to do like really great slapback echo feedback sounds, which is something I don't have. The soft tube spring verb slap delay plugin, so rack extension. So this was really useful to me, and then also for just creating really degraded loops, which I sometimes sample for like beats. So the next one I was looking forward to a lot was the PuigChild Master Compressor. This might not be super necessary for everybody else, but this is definitely something that I found where I put it on and things just sounded like 1 or 2% a little bit better on the master bus. You know, it's not night and day, it's not magic, but when I got it set up and dialed in, it really did just sort of add a little bit more warmth than glue, which, you know, those are totally meaningless terms, but it sounded better to me, and I liked it, and it was pretty easy to set up and get dialed in. So there's that, and I've just enjoyed it a lot. Finally, the third one is the non-linear summing plugin, which basically they modeled 3 different analog mixing boards, and they modeled like 32 different channel strips from those mixing boards, right? So like channel 1, this is what its characteristics are. Channel 2, channel 3. And so what you do is basically you go in and put those plugins on each of your channels automatically, and they're all just going to be sort of quirkily different a little bit based on the characteristics of that console. And you can sort of control the drive and a few other things to like manipulate the preamps of each individual channel. And then it also has a summing section where it sort of models analog summing, although we can talk till the cows come home in the comments whether or not actually becoming analog is what makes analog summing really work, or if it can be done in the box. And I don't know. I'm not an engineering expert. Maybe this doesn't sound as good as having an analog summing mixer. It almost certainly doesn't. But does it sound like, I don't know, I picked it up for like 25 bucks, 35 bucks. Does it sound better than not doing it? Yeah, it definitely adds something. And again, this is one of those plugins that if you hear it on any of your tracks, it's too much. But if you like compare it to being on all of your tracks just a little bit versus not, then you hear just how much like body and warmth and just also a little bit more weight it adds to your tracks. So these are the 3 like mixing plugins from Waves that I'm looking forward to the most. I think these VST plugins are just going to make Reason 9.5 that much more of a professional level for mixing and recording. And so those are the ones I'm excited about. I'd like to know what you're excited about. There's a lot of things that aren't on my radar. Also the Sound Toys plugins, those are another ones that I'm really excited about, but those are going to have to wait a while before those are in the budget. And if you haven't already, you know, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me, you know, what else you'd like to know about.